When I look back at my life, I mean, I grew up in a working class part of Dublin. I became an artist, and I had my first art exhibition in 2007. And on September 11th, 2017, my whole world changed. I was diagnosed with metastatic melanoma. It turns out it's one of the most deadly forms of cancer, and I was stage 3. So that was incredibly hard to hear because I'd never been sick before. I never had more than a cold in my life. And I went from never having more than a cold in my life to you have a stage 3 cancer and this is what needs to happen now. So on top of it all, and that wasn't even the worst of it actually, I also got sepsis twice. If I look back on my own diagnosis, would I change it? And the honest answer would be no. I wouldn't change any of it. I wouldn't change growing up where I grew up. I had amazing experiences. I wouldn't change being gay. I wouldn't change any of the things that have happened to me in my life. The journey that I've been on, where I've come from, have, as I say, brought me to where I am now, and I'm very grateful for that. Actually, when I was lying in bed after having sepsis for the second time, and I was attached to monitors and I was attached to the wall and broad spectrum antibiotics, I kind of made a bit of a deal with myself or with divinity, whatever is the higher power, that if I got through the period I was going through, the most difficult, challenging period of my life, actually, if I got through that, I would work towards all of the goals and dreams that I had in the back of my head, but that I wasn't working towards because I didn't necessarily believe in myself. And that's key. Believing in yourself and self-belief is one of the most important things that you can have. And believing in your own ability, your own unique voice. It means if I get to a point where I'm lying on my deathbed, I can say to myself, you know what, you tried. And that's the most important thing. If I died in 2017, I wouldn't have been able to say that. Whereas now, at least I'm trying. At least I'm giving it a go. I'm believing in myself and I'm reaching for my goals and my dreams. Before I got sick, before I was diagnosed with cancer, I guess my greatest fear would have been dying. I thought I was going to live forever. I was one of those people who, as I say, I'd never been sick. And I thought that it was ego, it was arrogance. I thought I was going to go on and live forever, and I'd have forever to achieve all of the dreams and goals that I have for myself. Honestly, I don't really fear anything. I don't fear dying. I don't want to die, but I don't fear it. I mean, I hope I get to a point where if I'm dying, I can look back and say, you took action and I'm proud of you for all that you tried and all that you achieved, but I'm not afraid of it. There is nothing in this world that I fear, and I think that is because I've already pretty much faced death and I've come through it and I've been given, I believe, a second chance. So yeah, there's nothing in this world that I fear at all. So if we're talking about changing things about myself, and there's a couple of different ways that can be interpreted, I suppose. Would I like to change anything about my physical body, this body that I inhabit, I guess, and my soul inhabits? I love my body. I mean, do I want to change anything about that? I train in the gym, I go and cycle, and that's to keep myself fit and healthy, and I strive for a certain aesthetic in that regard. So there's nothing necessarily about my body that I would want to change. If I get a bit older, would I have surgeries? Probably, yeah, probably. Now, if we're talking about my personality and my persona, is there anything I'd like to change? Yeah, there are a few things. I mean, I work on myself all the time. I think it's incredibly important. I try to be a better person. I love the person I am, but I could always be better. I'm always trying to be that little bit better. So the photo I chose is a photo of 3 of the most amazing creatures I've ever come across in my life. They're my 3 dogs, and unfortunately, over the course of the summer, Rosie who is the white retriever. She passed away actually on May 4th. And that was actually probably one of the hardest things I've ever gone through. And it's shot in a place called The Factory, which is on Barrow Street in Dublin. And my husband's performing arts school was there, my art studio was there, and this was shot in Studio One. The girls used to come in for visits and hang out with us. The memories that I have, some of the best memories that I have, are of walking the girls, the three girls, and with my husband on Sandymount Strand, which is where we live. And that's why I chose this photo. It means a lot to me, and also with the Rosie leaving us, that part of it as well. It's something that is very dear and very close to my heart, and it's a photo that I'll hold on to hopefully forever. So the song I chose, and it's by an amazing singer and a musician called Annie Lennox, and I'm sure everyone has heard of Annie Lennox, and it's from one of my favorite movie series called The Lord of the Rings, and it's called Into the West. And the song is about moving on from this life into the next life, and you go into the West. And of course, the sun sets in the West, and she speaks of the moon rising and the pale moon rising, and coming to the end of your life and going to rest rather than it being the actual end, moving on. And if anyone knows the movie, the elves went into the West to continue on living their lives rather than dying. So for me, it's a song that means a lot to me. It would be a gloomy theme song, I guess, but it's a song that I go back to over and over again. It reminds me that life is not infinite, and we will all move into the West and we will all die. We're born and we do move on, and one thing we're guaranteed is death, and we never know when it's coming. So that would be the song I choose. It's a beautiful song, it's incredibly well sung, and that is my theme song.